Section 375 of the Penal Code, a rape is subsequently committed when a man made a sexual intercourse with a woman against her will and without her consent. For the cases of sexual intercourse between a man and someone under the age of 16, consent is not needed as it will automatically become a secondary rape, which is still an offense of rape. So, the most important element of the offense of rape is penetration, as it is to ensure that there is an evidence that constitutes rape. Malaysia is one of the countries that ratified the CEDAW, which is the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. Despite being one of the signatories of CEDAW, the number of rape cases still did not manage to reduce. In Malaysia, according to the statistic by the DOSN, which is the Department of Statistical Analysis, the total rape reported between the year of 2000 until 2023 is 52,238 cases, as the data for 2024 is yet to be calculated.
So thank you to Clarky. So we can see that what about in the methods of right to defend? So even though that the right to raise a defense is allowed in the criminal procedure code, it is still silent in regards to how to use it, where to use it. So in Thai, there was a case that actually has explained about medical evidence, which is the case of public prosecutor against Pritam Singh Lal Singh. So in this case, it showed that medical evidence is very important in justifying the case of rape. So this is due to that in this case, there was a tear in the victim's vagina, which is inconclusive to support the charge of rape. As in this case, this test actually can also be shared with issues such as masturbation. So in Thai, there was a case that actually has explained about medical evidence, which is the case of public prosecutor against Pritam.
The cases of rape being reported, there are only several cases that are being brought to the court, and only 20 cases that raise defenses to their accusations, excluding statutory rape. As to that offense, the principle of strict liability will be applied. According to the analysis, the most frequent and most common defense that are being used by the accused is consent, with the percentage of 85%, with the number of 13 cases. And the defense of unsoundness of mind and the defense of intoxication have the same percentage, which is 15%, which equals to 3 cases. And the least used defense is mistake of fact, with only 1 cases that holds the percentage of 5%. Among the
Thank you, Toronto. Hi everyone, I'm Bukumi Anya. I will discuss for the first defense, which is the defense of investigation demanded upon the court. What is investigation? Investigation means when a person influenced by the alcohol or other substances may commit a crime. The degree of alcohol or other substances abuse may be such as to rule out the person from following the menstrual, which is essential in determining the judgments. In other words, the defendant should be able to prove that they lack the menstrual during committing the crime, because they provide with Section 85 of the Penal Code, which is investigators shall not be used as a defense unless the defendant is aware that what he was doing was wrong. From the analysis based on the years 2000 up to 2034, there were 3 cases that is the defense of investigation. With these, all 3 cases were unsuccessful for raising the defense of investigation, meaning that the court rejected the defense of investigation raised by them based on several reasons. This was framed by one of the cases, which is the Dakwah against Muhammad Awani, where in that case the court rejected the defense of investigation because the accused was aware and knew exactly what was done to the victim. Furthermore, the accused was not innocent of investigation because during the he had knowledge that what he was done was wrong. However, in criminal law, The investigation depends on whether the investigation was involuntary or voluntary. Involuntary investigation, where someone is tricked by someone into consuming the alcohol or other substances. Meanwhile, the involuntary investigation constitutes as a general defense. Unlike voluntary investigation cannot be a general defense. Lastly, in some cases, voluntary investigation cannot absorb the defendant's liability, but it can reduce the overall possibility of the crime. Yes, the defendant might have charged reduce the lesser crime if he can prove that the investigation exists at the time of committing the crime. That's all from me. Next, I will pass to the next presenters.
Thank you, Putri. Hello, everyone. I am Hanif Iman. My part, I will explain to you about the defense of unsoundness of mind in the rape cases. So, what is unsoundness of mind? Unsoundness of mind can be defined as a mental state of someone who cannot understand the nature and the consequences of the actions taken by him or her. In rape cases, in order for someone to raise the defense of unsoundness of mind or insanity, that particular offender must prove that the mental state and also he is unconscious when committing the rape. In Malaysia, the defense of unsoundness of mind or insanity is illustrated in Section 84 of Penal Code, where it emphasizes that no one can be convicted under criminal charge where he or she has no knowledge about the nature and consequences of that particular offense committed. Meaning that when someone has no knowledge or unconscious or the mental state of that particular person is not stable or problematic, then he cannot be convicted under that criminal charge. Moving on to the analysis of the rape cases in Malaysia. Most cases that raise the defense of unsoundness of mind were unsuccessful. Why? It is because most defense counsel failed to prove that the mental state and condition and also the unconsciousness of the accused when committing the rape. As an example, in the case of Wong Hong Lim against public prosecutor, in this case, the court rejected the offender defense of unsoundness of mind. It is because the defense counsel failed to prove that the offender had no knowledge about the nature and consequences of the action and also the consciousness when committing the rape. So I will pass this presentation to the next presenter.
So now I will be explaining about the defense of mistake of facts. So this defense is being provided under Section 375, subsection C of the Penal Code, where it states that the man gave the consent under a misconception of facts in which he mistakenly believed that the woman consented to the sexual intercourse between them when it is actually not. So, according to the analysis that been made, out of 7 cases that raised the defenses to the rape accusations between this range of year, which is 2000 and 2024, there is only one case that raised this defense, which is in the case of Muhammad Zaharuddin against the public prosecutor. However, the court held that the accused did not even fulfill the requirements in order to raise this defense. Therefore, the accused was guilty in this case. Since there is only one case, therefore there is no analysis for cases of successful defense of mistake of fact to rape accusation in this range of years.
So thank you to Kuatu. So now I will be presenting on the topic of defense of consent. So we can see that defense of consent is one of the most common defenses raised when an accused actually commits the offense of rape. So on the occasion when these sexual actions are committed by the accused towards the victim without the consent of the latter, therefore it will constitute as rape as defined in Section 375 of the Penal Code. So we can see that after a prima facie case is made by the prosecutor, the defense will actually have to defend themselves in court, and in this matter will actually raise the defense of consent. So the defense of consent is actually not technically defined within the penal code, but can be explained in interpretation within section 375 of the penal code itself. So what does section 375 state? It is what is a rape. So it has provided that an act of rape is when a man actually has sexual intercourse with a woman under circumstances that it is without her consent, as stated in section 375B of the penal code. This is actually also further elaborated in sections 375C and also D of that penal code respectively, as the consent actually is received when that person is actually in fear of dying or actually harm herself or actually anyone else. If she does actually not consent to the action of rape. So what about the consent when a man who has no marital ties with that victim? It will also be the defense of consent. Especially when she thinks that that person is actually someone who should be normally consent to doing sex and etc. or actually being legally married to. So nevertheless, in this assignment, the cases of statutory rape in which the consent of it will not be touched or analyzed in depth. So as provided in this pie chart, we can see that from 2000 until the year of 2024, many rape cases have been judged and appealed. However, based on the analysis above, it is provided that only 13 of those cases have managed to raise the defense of consent as provided in section 375 of that penal code. So this is due to the reasoning that these rape cases throughout the years actually constitute as statutory rape. So therefore, the defense of consent cannot be raised in the court. So with this, we can see that only one case out of the 13 cases that we have analyzed successfully raised the defense of consent. The name of this case is Abdul Malik bin Atan against Public Prosecutor, 2002. So in this case, the defense has managed to prove that as the consent is the cause of his own defense, he had not held out his threats in regards to going to childcare and selling the victim herself. So this actually was shown in the statement from the plaintiff's witness, which stated that there were others in that room when the act happened, the sexual act had happened, while another said otherwise, thus making both the witness statement contradictory to one another. With this, it has strengthened the defense of consent raised by that defense. To add on, we can see that the lacuna made by the prosecution himself have made it easier for the defense to claim defense of consent, as they had not brought the crucial witness to the stand, and by allowing him to be easily in the hands of the defense. With this, it has proven why this case had managed to raise the defense of consent in the case of rape. So furthermore, in cases of rape that had unsuccessfully raised the defense of consent, it can be seen in the other 12 cases, where they have failed to raise the defense of consent as they had lacked evidence to support the defense. So this is due to that the corroborative evidence of the plaintiff is much stronger in showing that the victim had been raped without her own consent. This can be seen in special cases, also in the case of Ridwan bin Masmoud, as in this case, he had failed to actually raise the defense of consent as he actually married his own victim of rape. And as there was no marital status when the act had happened, therefore, he was actually prosecuted for his offense. And next, we can see in the case of Ahmad Najib bin Aris, where actually he raped someone and then he killed that person in cold blood. This is a special case because, of course, when that person is dead, how on earth are they going to prove consent? But because we can see that as he was feeling guilty, he killed that person. Therefore, there is no doubt that there is no defense of consent. And with this, it is acknowledged that rape is actually a horrendous offense that cannot easily raise a defense, especially the defense of consent. With that, thank you.
Moving on, I'd like to address the increasing of sexual violence, specifically the rates of rape crimes. Despite this complexity of this issue, I believe we can work towards a society free from such violence. Based on the analysis of several cases, I'd like to propose a few suggestions that could be taken to address this problem more effectively. So by addressing the root causes, improving victim support, and implementing legal, educational, and societal reforms, we can start to reduce the frequency of these crimes, such as rape, from happening in the future. So the first suggestion is dealing with the root causes that contributes to criminal behavior. When individuals commit crimes while under the influence of substances, it's essential to ask whether rehabilitation should be a part of the sentence in addition to punishment. So many times, addiction, whether to alcohol or other substances such as drugs, can be a major factor behind criminal behavior. So by addressing these issues through proper treatment programs, it could be one of the preventive measures to reduce such crimes from happening. So, for example, the Food Amendment Regulations 2016 in Malaysia had introduced rules that limits the sale of compounded hard liquor, required to be sold only in glass bottles with a minimum volume of 700 milliliters. So while this may seem small, it's an important step in controlling substance abuse and reducing the likelihood of related crimes. The second one is strengthening preventive action through legal, societal, and educational measures, in which the creation of specialized units within the police or the prosecution departments that are trained specifically to handle sexual violence cases. It can really play a significant role. So, for example, in England and Wales, all of the 43 police forces had implemented a new approach to investigating rape cases. For example, in England and Wales, all 43 police forces had implemented a new approach to investigating rape cases, which included offering remote sentence hearings to improve the victim's experiences in court. This is a practice we should consider in Malaysia as well to improve our local systems. We also need to ensure that there is a clear definition of consent in our legal system so that there's no ambiguity during trials. This would help avoid confusion and strengthen the pursuit of justice. Moreover, education plays a vital role in prevention. By encouraging sex education in schools, it will really help young people to understand the importance of consent and how to recognize the signs of child grooming. This is also might help them to might teach them on how to protect themselves from sexual violence. This is an investment in creating safer communities for future generations. However, legal and law enforcement measures alone aren't enough. Society's attitudes towards sexual violence also need to change. Hence, it can be carried out by the third suggestion, which is improving support system for survivors of rape crimes. Launching campaigns that challenges rape myth and societal stigmas that affect survivors. This is because that victim blaming is one of the biggest barriers preventing survivors from coming forward, so we need to empower them to seek justice and support. Safe environment needs to be created for victims to report incidents without fearing any backlash. This includes ensuring that there are systems in place that provides legal care, medical assistance, and confidentiality when reporting incidents. So when victims feel protected, they are more likely to come forward and seek the help they need and participate in the justice process. So, in conclusion, while the problem of sexual violence is significantly rising throughout the years, however, it is still preventable. So, by addressing the root causes of sexual violence, improving legal frameworks, and changing societal attitudes, we can significantly reduce the rate of rape and also other sexual crimes. The government, along with society, needs to take action to create a safer environment and prevent future crimes from happening.
To conclude, several defenses may be raised by the accused in rape cases. It includes consent, investigation, and soundness of mind and mistake of fact. Among these defenses, consent is the most frequent and commonly raised by the accused in rape cases. For the defense of investigation, consent of mind, and mistake of fact, can be seen that is less common defense raised by the accused. This is because it requires a high burden of proof and limited evidence. Based on the analysis of the list above, we can see when with the year of 2000 and 2024. One of the common reasons that defensive fails because it lacked evidence and did not fill the requirement under the condition.